Wassail Sagittarius, wassail Sagittarius. It's a strange little tune. Came out then, Sagittarius. So we're here with the Liffruma deck, which you can go into the description box. There, thank you all who've gone to the website and who put in emails to say you'd like to pre-order. Pre-order page is being constructed. It's all a lot more complicated than you always hope it would be. It is fairly simple, but there's a lot of stuff to get through, and there's a lot of decisions to be made about speculating how many of you are going to buy it, how many we're going to have to get printed, what time that takes, the cost that it will mean, and then working out what the retail price is. So we are getting there, and we're very, very grateful to you all. But do spread the word among your friends for Liffruma. So, now, Sagittarius, I'm not taking that one. Sedna was in Sagittarius about 1,417 years before the Common Era until 24 years before the Common Era. So basically, for 1,500 years before the Common Era. So it was kind of like the transformative moment before Common Era began. So Sedna was there a long time, not as long as she was in Scorpio. I'm not taking that one either. I'm just preparing myself to find out what Sedna would like to share with Sagittarius. Whether that be some message for you now, or whether it just simply is a message of what Sedna's been up to. And it could be the energies laid down by Sedna then are coming into fruition now. I don't know. We're just going to ask Sedna and Sagittarius. Sedna and Sagittarius. Sedna and Sagittarius. Right, the opening card face upward, right, is Gifu. Interesting, interesting. It's coming with the Gaidalum card, which was in the Scorpio reading, but it's coming also with Guttan. 757. There's something here where in the Scorpio reading, it was about a gathering that began to be time-locked. This is now about how that must have been something that came towards the end of that period. And now we're at this place where this old, now time-locked, beautiful, gifting energy was gutted. It was completely severed as we came up to this period of 24 years before the Common Era. There is an energy in Gifu which talks about what is needed, what should or could have happened before something new arises. And quite often it talks about how you've already continued that work. Something in this card talks about this inevitable gutting away, this energy being transformed, this being lost, this community energy. Now, bearing in mind we're about to go into Gemini, which is in opposition to Sagittarius. What am I seeing here? I'm seeing like a bubble burst. No, it's not got air in it. It's more like something very viscous that just when the skin goes, it hits the ground quite heavy. What else am I looking at within this? There's something of a blind society, or a society here during this period walking off a cliff edge. Complacency, Sagittarius. What are you complacent about? What in your life are you complacent about? What do we get when we take away? What do we get when we take that away? 757. So we get that energy, 757. It's almost like a great calm was stirred, and then a community spirit feeling was driven away, was lost. There's something in this energy that feels like losing something in the astral. Like there's an energy, there's a natural, somehow there's like an energy within the astral that's been trying to hold memory of societal achievements, Sagittarius, that seem somehow to have been lost slightly. They're just, it's literally like being in a dream and there's a door, and as you touch the door to open it, you wake up. What's behind that door? This gathering energy. This energy is being kept, or has been kept, far away, far away. Sagittarius. It's interesting that the Dage card has come over a couple of times today, where it doesn't fall out, but it turns over and reveals itself. Sagittarius and Sedna. This also was in the Scorpio reading. So this is about gutting traditions now. In the Scorpio reading, it was about what was left that became traditions, and they probably are. You know, this is a long, what is it, an 11,408 year cycle that Sedna's on, so it's going slower than the trees in most cases. We've got a lot, look, we've got a 7 in every card. Card 7, 74, 57, 71, 7, 74, 57, 71, 12, 8, 11, 7. There's something in this period, Sedna in Sagittarius, that's doesn't fit together. Like nothing seemed smooth, nothing seemed wise. Now I've got a funny feeling that somewhere around this period was the last time that Saturn and Jupiter moved into Aquarius so quickly. It was around the time of the fall, midway through the fall of the Roman Empire. Can't put my finger on that. There's something in this energy when nothing quite matches, and yet it's all connected by these sevens. But every single card, and these cards blend, but in this, there's nothing of the colours blending. There's nothing of the runic symbols blending. You've got to work really hard. Sedna worked really hard to transform a narrative. So, see what else is coming up. Someone's swimming out there and I really want to go and swim, but I haven't swum for a few days, like 6 or 7 for a week. I mean, partly because a couple of dead walruses out there that have been buried, and I don't want to swim in their energy. But I want to swim. Apple bearer. This is now. So what was, and this is 13 frequency, 49. This is about not repeating the past. This is about seeing differences. There's something about finding a fluidity that is a true fluidity, not 4 separate energies. This is about bearing fruit. To bear fruit, there's got to be some kind of consistency from seed to plant, to flower, to leaf, to fruit, to eating. There is also something about, well, I want to say plums, I want to say damsons, I want to say prunes, anything plum related is coming up here. And that could be the colour. It's an older energy, that kind of plum and dusty blue. Really strong energy of gut, there's something about remembering a time of blossom, and I feel like I feel like it's to do with like the past, Sedna in Sagittarius. But there was no sense of the blossoming. The blossoming feels like something that came much later. Maybe it's now. There's something they're showing me here about the fruit and the blossoms being the wrong way around. Like, hey, look, this is impossible, but this is what they're showing me. So your fruits are ready to bear, but they're only going to bear their full fruits when you somehow have a remembrance of what those fruits blossomed from. There's something about the need to connect with the laden fruits from what were once merely pollen, from dust to reality. Apple Bear is a very strong, powerful card. The fruits of labour, but I want to emphasise with this, it's about doing something differently to how it was done in the past, and it's not by you, it's by an ancestor. It's transforming the fruiting. Look, now we've got Hemphoreld. Another 7, 7, 7. So look, the only card, so we're going into this new now energy, this fruiting, bearing of fruits that still needs remembrance of its blossom. And we're right in the power of focusing the Bifrost energy, the Hemfereld, Harmfereld. Living light paths, series of strings and things. So somehow these strings and things are that kind of weird time bracket where you need the remembrance of the pollen. It's in this gift card. The previous energies required to achieve the moment of gifting, to free the thing to flow. I'm getting this strong sense of individualism, but also a kind of sense of having been since this period, like 3,500 years of feeling tribally lost. You know your identity. You are clan 7, whatever you want to call it. This 7 has become a really important focus to show you where something came from. Wow, I mean, seriously powerful ending. So, Ofalagu and Ur. Now, I know it's a funny old word, but an Ofalagu means a cloak or a mantle. And it says embraced or mirrored. So this is about many frequencies. And look, I want you to see how this journey home, look at the difference between those two runes. The arrows through the soul, bringing a level of balance. And it's just a conversion of this turned on its side. I think it's really interesting that now that I've got the 4 cards below, we're looking at 4977, 63, and number 2. We're really looking at this energy here of how what was fixed, what was lost, what was traumatic, what was sticky becomes fluid. But it doesn't just become fluid, it becomes a projection of all that's balanced in your existence. A rare gift, an energy, an energetic understanding of how to break some kind of lost cycle here. And then Ur, the Uroks, this lost, and they were real. They were real until the 17th century when we hunted the last one. This is about being untamable. This is about finding something lost that's long been suppressed. And I mean long suppressed for like 3,500 years, but also, I also mean lost to you personally. Something about you that is untamable. Something about you, Sagittarius. I mean, there is obviously a real energy of mutability. There's a lot of energies changing direction. There's double frequencies, there's mutations, there's balances throughout all of this frequency. So I'm just going to ask, what's Sedna want you to notice then? What's Sedna's point? It's a destiny point. It's your. And that's interesting because this is about understanding your destiny, not a destiny imposed upon you through others or through family DNA. It's very strong energy. Apple Bearer talks about Odin and Thor, but about Thor not repeating Odin's mistakes. Yor talks about Thor understanding his fated destiny with Jormungandr, and growing up and being mature and accepting it. So there's something in this energy here where there's something very mature about both lines, but something in that maturity was gutted and hasn't been recoverable, and now it becomes recoverable. It's a fruit waiting to bear. Balance. Apple Bearer, Hemfereld, Oferdagut and Ur. They're really, really strong energies of immense power and freedom, and it's a destiny. It's something you can acknowledge and head towards. It's beautiful. So, Sagittarius, there's your little Sednetta, and I shall be moving on to Capricorn next. So, Wassail, Sagittarius.